Hello, and welcome to TJ Plays with some AI stuff. In today's episode, I'm going to talk more about Figma Console MCP because I feel like it's just not getting enough love. It's got like 50 stars on GitHub, but I feel like it deserves more. I know it's a pain in the butt to get set up, but it's totally worth it. In my constant pursuit to have that one console that rules them all, it feels like this is a big player in that because it literally does everything that I needed to do in Figma from my MCP client. In this case, I'm using Claude Desktop. Usually I'm using Claude Code, but for demo purposes, it just reads a little better when I'm doing it through Claude Desktop. So without further ado, could you please use the Figma console connector to tell me what projects do I have open in Figma right now? So the cool thing about Figma Console is that it's not isolated to just a component set. It has full awareness of all of the projects that you have open. And if you wanted to, you can compare and contrast the projects. It gives you all the data about all the projects. All right. So I've got these two. So I do. I have Northright open, and I have this College Town design system open. And then I'm going to say, let's focus on College Town for now. And could you tell me how many variables are in that variables table for that project? So now it's going to dig into the College Town project specifically, and then it's going to pull the variables, and then usually it gives some like additional metadata and stuff. So yeah, 716. You can count that. It's 430, 453, So add all that up and you'll get this. Great. All right. So now we want to dig a little further into this and say, can you pull me the values of all the base primary variables in that variables table? So now we're going to do a little searching in that variables table and see what it returns. So it already knows the data that I got from it. It's okay. So we got 3 primary, and that's about what we got right here. Primary, hover, foreground. We got that pink. We got the pink, and white. So that's it. Great. And then I want to say, all right, well, I'm not really a big fan of that fuchsia color. Do we have any other orange or maybe like a teal color in the tier 1 color palettes we can use? So I don't even know what I want. I just don't even, I'm not really too aware of what's on that tier 1 color palette. So I want to see what's in there. So it's going to show me, okay, cool. This is great. Yeah. I don't know. I like that teal. I'm really liking that teal. Can we replace the primary colors with these teal colors? So the cool thing about Figma Console is that it doesn't just have read capabilities. As you can see, it just did it and updated all of these. I'll go on this side. All of these to updated it here too. The ones that I just asked it to update it to. So I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. That's like one neat little thing that I could do. And then I could say, that's awesome. Can you find the button component and let me know what the properties of the button component are? So now I'm going to ask it to do a little component searching. So because it has full awareness of the Figma project, it can literally go through all of the components and then search until it finds the specific component that I'm asking for. And then it can dig into that component and then return information about that component, which I think is pretty cool. This particular design system has a ton of components, so this search might take a little bit of time. So while it's doing that, I can fill you in on some of the other cool things that I can do. It does have the ability to create designs. So if you wanted to, you can ask it to create a new page, and maybe that page could be like your sandbox, where if you wanted to just test out some designs that leverage the components that are in your design system, then you could do that. You could say, create me a login form using the form fields from this component library, and it'll generate that for you. That actually goes into like the self-healing loop to where it'll generate it, and then it'll take a snapshot of it, and then it'll send it back to itself, and then say, hey, does this look right? And then if it doesn't, it'll keep iterating on it until it feels like it's like in the ballpark. And then after it's done, you can even go in there and tweak it verbally, like you can just, or you can type in your command line, you can type in your prompt, and then ask it to make text tweaks, or add an image, or add an additional component, or adjust the sizing, or add a shadow, or anything like that. So it's really versatile in lots of different ways. The main way that I like using it is managing variables, because I think that's one of the big things too. Like if there are any variable changes, then you can address any of those. You can ask if there were any changes. So in the past, you would use something like Style Dictionary to pull in those value changes, but now you don't have to do that. Now it can just do a comparison just by leveraging this tool. So here we are. This is it found the button. There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of components in here. So I'll get rid of this variables table. Lots of components in here, and it found it. And then if we click on the component set, here's all of the properties that are in here. And these are all the ones that it found. And it's like, okay, great. And it also has 186 total variants, so that's a lot. So I'll say, all right, yeah, but I don't know. With this teal color, it's looking a little like it's from Tiffany's. I'd like to add a property to this that says, is Tiffany's, and make it a Boolean property. So because it can see all that metadata too, it also has the ability to edit the metadata or properties, and then it also has the ability to add properties to it. So if I move this over, and then if we're looking here in this properties panel, after this runs its course, we should be able to see another property pop up in this section over here. It does have a lot to churn through because this is quite the large component library, but there it is. It just popped in. Is Tiffany, and it did add the Boolean property to it. So that's pretty cool. So far so good. We're like, I don't know, 9 for 9. Awesome. You did such a great job. You know what? Can you tell me what the description for this component set is? This is another thing that I'm not sure if the Figma MCP can do at this point. I know that they were talking about adding capabilities to be able to add in or find, or at least read the description. But there it is. So here's the description. The button component provides interactive controls. If I pop this open, let's see, the button component provides interactive controls. And I'll say something like, you know what, that description is a little too specific. I think we should change it to the lyrics to Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. So I think that would actually be a lot more fun if it were the lyrics to Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star instead of, it's copyrighted, shoot. What about I'm a Little Teapot? I didn't realize that I couldn't use a copyrighted song like that for documentation, but same problem. Darn. Can you just make up a song that's similar to it that isn't copyrighted? I never thought I would run into a copyright issue when I'm trying to demo a MCP tool and how it can control documentation. Sure, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that'll be perfect. So what is it? I'm a little button, short and wide. Click on me, I'm your guide. When you hover, I light up bright. Press me down and hold me tight. I love it. Oh, and look what it did. Here it is over here. There it is. That's beautiful. This is a goofy demo that I'm doing here, but if you really think about what is happening here, like, this is the best way that you can get documentation to sync up correctly. You can feed this a markdown file of all your components. Since it has full awareness of everything that's in here, it'll iterate through all of your components and add and edit and delete and update documentation for all of them. It can read it, edit it, send it back, and it's awesome. So that's a lot of things that it just did. I'll just show one more cool thing that I can do. Can you add a new page to this component library and then call that page sandbox testing page? So usually it'll pop it down at the bottom down here. I've already had a couple of these that I was testing when I was testing this functionality. And then there it is, sandbox testing page that I just added. So there it is. And then we'll do one last thing. I'll say, can you, let me do something a little different here. Let me say, I'm going to just to keep this demo short, I'll say, can you create me a login form design using the components from this component library? This might take a little bit, again, just because of the amount of components that are in this library. If this gets too long, I might just cut this part out of this video. But it does a great job when it goes through this self-healing loop, just because part of the tool set that's in the MCP, it knows that once it's done, like air quote done, once it feels like it's like it did a good job, it's going to go through and say, well, let me validate whether or not I did that good job. And if it did, and usually it doesn't, it takes a couple of tries to go over and over and over again. And then I hit a max length. I'll save this part for another demo, because I want to go in depth with it, because I want to show that you can do really cool things. If I was doing this in Claude Code, the context window would have been much longer, and it would have completed. And also, like I said, this design system has a lot of components in it, so it does soak up some tokens, doing searching for all of those different variants and everything it needs to carefully assemble that component that I requested. But I'll do another demo just on the design things alone, because you could do something like take a snapshot of something you'll see on Dribbble or another website or an app, and then you could put it in Claude Code or in Claude Desktop and say, generate this with my components, and then it'll generate that. So this is like similar to what we created in Story UI, where you're generating code from designs. This is a way for you to be able to generate designs from an MCP, and then you could use the same MCP to use the canonical link of the component that you just created, and then send it to your development environment to get developed. All from this one dashboard, all from this one console. And the fidelity of the designs are truly impressive, and it really is only as good as your design system is. So as much as I stress, focus on the fidelity and make sure that check engine light on your design system is not on or blinking. Like it's imperative that you have these components documented and the properties are aligned, and use tools like Figma Lint to be able to lint them, and then it'll give you a score, and then ensure that score is as close to 100 as you could possibly get. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Please reach out if you have any questions. I'm happy to do any private demos for any of this stuff. And yeah, I'll talk soon. Bye.